flying out. Chapter 5. Storm incoming. The sky was now cloudy. Mr. and Mrs. Mallard, Andy and his younger brother were flying over the forest and heading towards Africa. Are we there yet? Nick yelled, confused. No, we were about halfway there, Mr. Mallard yelled. Then, the wind started to rapidly pick up speed. They all started to blown back by the wind. Whoa, this wind is strong, Andy yelled nervously. I know, just hang on to your brother tightly. All right, Mr. Mallard yelled worriedly while the wind was blowing in his face. The clouds started thundering loudly. Oh dear, it's a storm, Mrs. Mallard yelled nervously. We just have to fly through it, Mr. Mallard yelled sternly. Then, it started hailing. The hail was now hitting the Mallards hard. Oh, it hurts, Nick yelled panically. Hang on, Nick, Andy yelled panically. Honey, we need to stop, please, Mrs. Mallard yelled panically. No, we haven't stopped our migration then, and we were not stopping now, Mr. Mallard yelled sternly. Then suddenly, a whirlwind started to form from the sky. Minutes later, a tornado touched down to the ground. The Mallard's eyes widened in fear. Oh, my God, Andy gasped in shock. What is that? Nick yelled panically. It's a tornado, we gotta get out of here, Mrs. Mallard yelled panically. Mr. Mallard's eyes widened in shock as he realized that they had to fly away. Quick, fly back, Mr. Mallard yelled sternly. The Mallards turned around and started flying back. But the wind was pulling them in. Oh no, the wind is too strong, Andy yelled panically. I can't hold on anymore, Nick yelled panically. Then, Nick flew off Andy's back. Andy's eyes widened in shock. Nick screamed panically. Nick, Andy yelled panically. Nick, my baby, Mrs. Mallard screamed panically. Mr. Mallard quickly flew after Nick and grabbed him by his feet. Hang on, Nick, Mr. Mallard yelled panically. Mr. Mallard was starting to be pulled back. Andy then flew after to his dad. Andy, Mrs. yelled confused. Andy then grabbed onto his dad's feathers tightly. Hang on, Dad, Andy yelled panically. Moments later, Andy was trying to hold onto his dad and his younger brother. But he was starting to be pulled in by the tornado. Andy turned to his mother. Andy, grab my feathers, Mrs. Mallard yelled panically. Andy tried to reach out to his mother's feathers, but he was too late. The tornado sucked Andy, Mr. Mallard, and Nick in. They all screamed horror. No, Mrs. Mallard screamed panically.